Hello, welcome to CLSB Politics. Sean Briscoe speaking. National Political Campaign Organizing Plan Part 3. That's right, you're almost halfway done. Uh, in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about integrating digital and field strategies. So this is, those of you who watch my channel, you know I do data work, and people always ask, well, what does data director do? I make sure that we're knocking on the right doors. And I also make sure that our canvassers are actually knocking on the doors. Also, very important fact, because it doesn't matter how many canvassers you put out there. If they're not actually doing it, might as well not put out any. So that's kind of my job. So there's a whole lot about integrated digital and field strategies that I deal with. It's kind of what I do. But there's parts of this that I don't do because it takes us, I think it's just, there's a lot on my end, and that if I don't have help on the other end, it's almost impossible. So the idea is to take field work and digital analytics and social media and a bunch of other stuff and combining them into a cohesive, almost map or plan of where you need to go, and helps you prioritize your voter engagement. For example, you need to know where all your friends are first. Find all your friends, find all the friendlies, and then you move on to the neutrals, the people who, all the metrics and the math, the age, demographics, whatever algorithm you're using, they should be your friends, but they probably don't even know you exist 99% of the time. So prioritizing that voter engagement, that second phase when you're going after those independent votes, that middle 6% that tend to decide every election, you can go after those guys. So combining all that stuff's insanely important. And if you want to play in the 21st century, this is how you play. So the other thing is we need cross-functional teams. So you have different teams for ground organizing. We've talked about those. There's organizers, there's field directors. So organizers go after the groups and help build coalitions that bring in more canvassers, that the field organizers go in and through the mechanics of field canvassing and things of that nature, build out larger and bigger and more robust programming. So integrating all this takes communications, all your ground people, your digital guys. It's almost like operating a symphony. You have the different instruments, and they're all doing different things. And you can't ask a drum to do what a flute does. It just doesn't work. You can't ask social media to do something that requires buy-in before they even get that message. You know, they have to know that you have people on the ground, that they're not alone. A voter finding out they're not alone is, because you understand that's been the Republican game, especially in Texas. And I've seen this, I don't even know, 1,000 times in 30 years, where we're going around and we're knocking on doors. And I mean, I work with very progressive campaigns, especially when I was younger. And so they go around and we make sure that, we ask for, do you want a yard sign? I was like, no, I don't want a yard. The person at the doors, I don't want a yard sign. I don't want to cause any trouble. I'm like, well, you understand, there's like 9 other doors, 9 other houses on your street that are getting yard signs. And they're like, what? Because the Republicans in Texas and in a lot of red states just make the Democrats feel like they're alone. They're not. The Republicans also make the non-voters and even if they're registered, they don't vote. They're still non-voters, as far as I'm concerned. Even if they are registered to vote, if you don't do it, it doesn't matter. So that's their whole strategy. They want their opposition to feel like there's no one else out there. There's no army out there. Well, these communications, all of these levels, these ground, digital, integration, all that fights against that, changes that mindset in the voter. Insanely important. So there's another big thing that's going on right now, and I've talked about it, and it's actually not new. They're calling it relational organizing. Uh, you know, guys, in '09, the ACA did not pass because we weren't doing that. Put it that way. Utilizing relational organizing software, influencer outreach, and coordinated social media campaigns to amplify a community organizing effort. Basically, what that means is we've got personalities on our side. You know, I actually got to hang out with Forrest Whitaker because he was stumping for Obama. And this was before he was in Star Wars. And for those of you that have been watching my channel, I have mentioned I love Star Wars. Well, this is way before that, of course. And but it was, I'll never forget it. I thought it was cool. Of course, I already had buy-in, blah, 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 blah. But it was one of the coolest things hanging out with him. He was a super nice guy, by the way. Crazy nice guy. Anyway, but there's also just, people in your community, musicians in the community that would love a platform. We're all self-serving here. I'm coin operated. I don't work unless I'm paid. Neither should they. They're artists. They deserve to be paid for their art. But they can always use another platform, reach new people, new ears. I would hesitate to call myself an influencer, but stuff like this YouTube stuff and TikTok and all the stuff that I'm not on, that also feeds into it. And it helps communities understand, hey, I love this guy. He also shows up to a lot of things I show up to. Maybe I should listen to what he has to say about this election cycle. It's that kind of weird connect. I believe the Republicans make a lot of noise. They make a lot. And you can, if you watch any congressional hearing, you can see it as plain as day. They're just looking for sound bites for their TikTok and their Twitters and what I call the tiki-takis and the tweets, the twits. That's what they're looking for because they need to add to the noise. AOC's figured it out. She's making her own noise. That's smart. Let's be clear. Bernie's been making noise for 50 years. Bernie was trying to be an influencer before the interwebs. You know what I'm saying? So there's some of them that figured it out a long time ago and some of them that knew it walking in. And that's why I like to see the Jasmine Crockett's and the AOC's making all that noise. Also, big fans of both. I like to see that because that's what we got to start doing more of. And we got to start doing it at the local level. We got to find their people, their influencers, the people that they listen to. I don't care if it's a restaurant critic. The restaurants know that the policies that GOP's pushing is going to shut down all of the restaurants that he likes to go to and he thinks are really good. I imagine if he has no more restaurants to critique, he has a buy-in, a reason to be engaged. And that's what we got to look for. I mean, under every rock. So say thank you again. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. If you wish to support this channel, there's the PayPal, CLSB Politics. Hope everyone's finding this as interesting as I am. All right. I'll talk to you later.